So I had someone email me this picture and they asked me, can you remove the lady wearing the blue shirt and the jeans? I just want it to be me and my dog because my dog died. I don't have any pictures with just me and my dog. So can you please remove my daughter from the photo? And I said, sure, send it over. Well, this is what I got. The image resolution is 300 by 320 pixels. So that means to me they probably saved it off of a thumbnail on Facebook. So let's see what we can do. First, I'm bringing it into Topaz Gigapixel AI, which will upscale the photo to something usable. And this is our default result using the standard AI upscaling model. It looks awful on the people's faces, but everything else looks pretty good. You know, I don't need the background to look amazing. I want them to look human though. This looks terrifying. Oh my gosh, look at that. So first we're going to change our model to low res because it is a low res image. There we go. Slightly better. Still horrifying in a different way. This is before and after. Wow. The dog looks pretty good. And now on the bottom right here, there is a face recovery option, which I found to be amazing. Watch this. Wow. Like she looks human. She looks recognizable. That's great. I honestly don't really care about her face, although it does look pretty good because I'm going to remove her, right? I just care about her and the dog. So this is good enough for what I need. And I am upscaling it to just 2K, 2048 pixels. So I know she's just going to be viewing this on her phone and probably uploading this again to Facebook. So we're just going to leave it at 2K. So save the image. Another thing I love about Gigapixel AI is that it can easily do batch AI upscaling of a bunch of images at once, and that's awesome. All right, here is our image in Photoshop. We're going to be removing her, but first I'm going to crop this to a normal photo ratio because this is just annoying me. And if it's just her, we're going to do a 2:3 ratio, which is a normal aspect for a digital camera. With her centered and the dog, I'm going to click check. And now we're going to begin the process of removing her. Now the first step is actually kind of weird. We're actually going to isolate just the main lady and her dog on a top layer, and that will allow us to erase her out of the background much easier and without destroying or painting over her or the chair. So let's separate her on a top layer. First, I'm going to do the easy method, which is select and subject. Now that grabbed both women in a selection. I don't want that. So let's try another method. I'm going to press Control D to deselect. And I'm going to go over to my selection tools and use Quick Select tool. This tool is really handy because you can just kind of paint and drag and it'll automatically select things. Sometimes it just takes a few extra clicks, but it's already saving me a lot of time. I mean, look at that. That's like, if I did this manual, that would have taken me a lot of time. Okay. Grab all the way down here because we may need to paint some of the concrete to cover up the shadow. Make sure to get her dress. Awesome. Over here. All right. We're just behind her ear. That looks good. Maybe a little bit of this hair. If you hold Alt, it'll do the opposite. It'll deselect areas. Make sure to get this part of her bangs. Part of her hair around the corner, around the edge. This appears to be the blonde woman's hair over her shoulder. We can cover that up later. Awesome. Now I'm going to use another selection method to select this arm, and I'm going to use the brush. So I still have my selection made here. I'm just going to press Q. So everything that's red is deselected and whatever is not red is selected. So with B, brush selected. So press B for brush tool. And I'm going to get a kind of a hard round brush. And if I paint the color white, it will select. So I'm going to hold shift and do a few clicks. If you hold shift, it actually makes a perfectly straight line. So between point A and point B, or your first click and last click. I'm going to soften my brush a little bit and deselect some of this under here. There we go. Oh, got to reselect the doggy. There we go. So this is nice with the brush tool. You can just kind of clean up and fine tune your selection. And I'm going to grab this iron bar of the armchair. Looks like it goes straight downwards. Oh, I think it might curve in a little bit. Yeah, it's hard to tell in this low res image. I think it curves in. Okay. Awesome. And just so that we don't ruin any other part of this chair, let's select this metal piece back here. And that as well. All right, cool. So we have what I consider my main foreground. Press Q to get out of that quick select mode. We have the selection. We're going to right click on the layer, duplicate. We could name it lady, I don't know. And then click on the mask button that turns any selection into a mask. So now we have just her on this top layer, and the bottom layer is everything. We could be messy here and paint over the lady because she's still on the top layer and she'll be fine. So let's start erasing this lady on the left. I'm going to start with the latest tool that Photoshop has introduced called the Remove tool. This is sort of along with that AI fill, which by the way, I did try Photoshop beta and it did a terrible job. So don't say you don't have to do this anymore. Photoshop AI will do everything for you. You know, you're wrong. I tried and it looked awful. It was terrifying. So I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to share the remove tool because the remove tool is really good. That's cool. That did some of my work for me. Now I'm going to do a little bit more fine tuning with the stamp tool, which is of course instant as opposed to waiting for AI to think and what to do. And we're just going to paint over this area. Again, look, we can be messy here. It's okay because the top layer of her is going to preserve her. We should try to get this good angle though, this concrete going all the way below and behind her. This is, remember, this is inside the armchair. Look at this. I'm turning on my top layer. She's fine, okay? She's okay. And the doggy too. Most importantly, the doggy is okay. So we're going to continue to paint. We do have some gradient here where it's kind of going from like dark to light. So if we can sort of preserve that, that would be great. This is right here is a shadow of the lady that was next to the chair. So I paint over that maybe with a half opacity, 50% opacity of the brush. There we go. Kind of faded away, right? Nice and sneaky. There was never a shadow there. Sweet. Oh, we got an arm. Don't leave disembodied arms. We also need to restore this wood pole that was behind her. So let's do another clone stamp here. Click right on the corner, or right on the edge rather. And then we're going to try to keep that angle as long as it's lined up. Paint away. Sweet, we got a pole behind her head now. Now this part, this is a little tricky. So let's try that remove tool again, because sometimes the AI can do stuff in clever ways that would take me a lot longer. Other times AI is not a great option. So let's see how good it does with removing this hand. Oh, that looks amazing. Oh my gosh. Now that I got one piece done, let's do another piece. I like to do it in chunks. Because sometimes if you overwhelm AI, it gives really crazy results. But if you do it little bits and pieces at a time, you're good. All right. One last thing is this iron bar behind the chair needs to be copied over this way. So let's grab what we do have of this piece of metal using that quick select method. So I'm holding shift, I'm painting with the brush tool. I love that shift trick. It took me years to learn that. I didn't know that you could draw perfectly straight lines with a brush using shift, and it has really saved me a lot of hassle. Okay, so we have that. Let's get out of select mode. Now, because we painted red, it's actually reversed, so we have to invert the selection with Control Shift I, or you can go up to select and inverse, just inverses your selection. Control C, Control V. Now we have this little piece here. We can flip it by holding shift. Make sure you go, about the same size as it was. And we're going to rotate a little bit. Try to put it behind, where you think it would be. Of course, we got some 3D perspective going on here, so I warp a little bit like this. All right. And then maybe we're going to paint some black to kind of meet the two in the middle. Make it not top layer. Sample this color, which is not quite black. The edges are blurry, but not totally harsh. So we're just going to hold shift. Paint a little bit right there. Doesn't look great. We can maybe soften some of these edges. And we need to erase some of this fringing from the bar that we copied over, because there's some like blurry, weird fringing going on here. Awesome. All right, cool. There's a little funkiness going on with this wood board here. That's kind of because the AI. So let's kind of painting around that metal piece. And there's some other artifacts here because when we erased the hand. So let's just clear up that wood board. There you go. That looks pretty nice. And there you have it. We AI upscaled the image from 300 pixels to 2000, and we removed her daughter. Thanks for watching. If you love Photoshop and photography, check out my playlists. Let me know what you'd like to see more of in the comments, and hope you'll be back soon.